and welcome to another edition of Cosmic Connections podcast. This is our special edition that we're talking about the speakers at the Cosmic Patterns Conference. I'm here with Faye Cochran and Christopher Pruda, my partners in this, and today we have a special guest with us. She is going to be a speaker at the conference. Her name is Anne Ortelee. Hi, Anne. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you? Good. How are you? Good to be here. Yep.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. So Anne, you can find her website. I'll link it below, but Anne is ANNEORTELEE.com. You can find her website. She is a certified astrologer by many different organizations, ESAR-CAP, AMAFA, NCGRP AA Level 3, and OPA. She has been studying astrology since 1994 and a full-time astrologer since 2001. So You've been around for a really long time. And she has trained in traditional Western predictive astrology with psychological Jungian approach. And she's also studied different systems of astrology, such as Vedic astrology, horary, vibrational astrology. She's my sister in vibrational astrology over there. Numerology, palmistry, tarot, and Uranian symmetrical astrology. So all of that must give you a really big, overall view of astrology in general. She is been the treasurer of OPA for 7 years, and she serves on the board of the CG Jung Foundation. So you write a regular column too for subscribers and Twitter daily aspects to over 74,000 followers. That's amazing. Yep. So you offer a weekly podcast too on YouTube and lots of different videos on astrology. So that's exciting. And last, she also does Patreon subscribers. So this is exciting. You can find all of her information on her website. So I'm really excited to talk with you today and excited to be able to share some of the things that you're going to be talking about with the conference this year coming up. So your topic for the conference is integrating vibrational astrology in your natal reading. So tell us a little bit about that. What is got you into deciding to integrate vibrational astrology, and do you integrate vibrational astrology in traditional type readings or any other system that we were talking about?
Yeah. I try to keep the systems clean, meaning like if I do horary, I do it with Regiamanas. Obviously, if I do Vedic, I do it with a sidereal zodiac, and I like the southern chart rather than the northern. But what happened with me finding vibrational was, I bought a place in Florida, which I snowbird in, and I heard about the Vibrational Astrology Conference. So I went. And in the lectures there, I think it was the second one, my brain hurt. And I always like it when my brain hurts. And I left and I came back the next day and my brain hurt again. So I thought, okay, I need to learn this. So I started studying with Linda Berry because she was offering a class and David Cochran wasn't. So I started studying with Linda Berry. And then when David offered a class recently, I started studying with him. And, I've got to practice. And a lot of times you go to astrology conferences and you learn cool stuff. But in the busy of your day, you have do this, do that, do this, do that. This is my prep. This is my approach. So I was kind of like, and when I use a lot of the other astrology techniques, I use them as kind of standalone. Like I don't try and integrate them. And actually, when I was learning Vedic astrology, my teacher, Ronnie Dreyer, was like, Anne, that's Western. East, no, don't mix them. But things I learned in Vedic, I apply, but I try and keep the brain in its two parts, right? Because they have different aspects, and friends and enemies and all. But with this, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I love it. But how do I add it into my pot, of what I offer clients? And what's that process about? So, pull a couple charts, do the, look at what the highest vibration is, kind of look and understand it. And I really had loved the divisional charts in Vedic, which are similar to harmonics, which is similar to vibrations, which went away with Addie. Addie brought it back, right? Because that whole middle part of the predictive astrology got killed off by the Catholic Church. And so we lost all the harmonics that were there. They were part of it, but it went away. So now they're kind of recovering these things. And to me, now that we have these amazing little things called computers, because I'm originally of the hand casting, you know, you had to cast the chart by hand. I was like, oh my God, like this is like a treasure trove of information. But you know, my clients come for Western predictive, you know, like that's what I do. And when I do YouTubes and stuff like that. So what I've been doing is I've been integrating a little bit of the vibrational into my weekly weather, which is always helpful to say, oh, and this is a vibration of such and such a day, or there's this little interesting formation in the heavens, mainly not so much with the moon, but with the, you know, the regular planets. Um, and not with angles, right? So I just kind of just do the energy of the day, usually for noon, and it clicks with people. You know, there's a resonance, there's a recognition, and in general astrology, we were talking as we started this that Mercury's retrograde. We're recording this in August. Mercury's retrograde and Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, so everything's a little do it twice, do it once, do it. So we learn these techniques, and I thought, well, what's my approach to doing it, and how do I integrate it in? And so when Faye was talking to me about topics, I said, well, that's to my mind the challenge part. So I have a little process that I go through, you know, like you always do when you learn something new. You go, okay, well, now do this, and then do this, and then do that in my regular prep. And then I kind of look at what their transits are because they're coming. I do solar arc, secondary progressions. They're having a kick-ass Pluto transit. I'll do tertiaries, um, you know, and what's going on for them. And then now the vibrational adds this. Well, your natal vibration is here, and you know, Saturn's coming along and ringing it like a gong. Because I find those vibrations that are part of our natal chart, they get activated by the transits when it comes and whacks them, and or kisses them, or holds them, or fights with them. So talking to them about the vibration that they're here to live in, what they're here to do, and then saying, and that vibration is being pushed right now. Understand why, and then it gives you this whole level of depth. And I do find when I add the vibrational in, I mean, when you talk to somebody about their chart, their sun, their moon, their Mercury, they all go, yeah, yeah, yeah. When you talk to them about the vibration, they kind of look and they go like this. And they go, you saw something really secret in me. It's like there's a seeing with the vibrational astrology, which is what made my brain hurt at those two days at that first conference, where I was like, whoa, wow, my brain hurts. And so but it also is a matter of seeing it. And I actually left that conference thinking, I don't think we should teach this to everybody, because this is like the nuclear code of a person.
I think I remember you saying that. For some reason, I have a vague memory of you kind of talking about that.
That was in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Right. Yes. That's what I was thinking, because I spoke at that conference, and we had talked.
You were one of the people that hurt my brain. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, and I actually, I mean, people use astrology for different reasons, and I'm a Virgo. Yeah. I'm a Virgo, so I'm a little judgy. I get it. But I had a student who was not using astrology like in a good way, from my perspective. So when I came back from that conference, he was like, "Oh, wow, I really need to learn this." And I thought, ooh, should I even talk about this? Like, I don't want him to know about this, because it is like having the nuclear code. And when I was talking about it with a friend of mine, she said, Anne, but they do gene splicing. She worked at Cornell, and they do gene splicing. She said kids coming in freshman year learn how to splice genes now. We teach it to everybody. And I'm like, well, isn't that dangerous? She goes, uh-huh. And so I was looking at the vibrational as being very dangerous, because it is, but it also is very powerful. And so it's like understanding it. And also, when you're talking to somebody about their vibration, when I was a baby astrologer, you talk about Saturn and they go, You talk about Chiron, they start to cry. I find vibrational astrology makes people cry too. Because you're seeing them at such a core level of being. And so that it's a gift, but it also is, you really have to be very conscious of how you use the power of it. But I remember, but I also, when I first learned astrology, I had a Venus Saturn aspect in Scorpio. And I'm like, I don't want anybody looking at my chart. And then you get a little, you go, all right, stop it. So there's a whole reaction that I find with vibrational astrology, but also practically, how do you use it in your highest form when you're working with a client? And also, on certain levels, sometimes you have to be a little conscious of, oh, well, this vibration's getting activated, similar to midpoint pictures. And basically isotropes are those, right? When we get those 4 point, and it's also planetary, it's also Arabic parts, that's the same origin. But you're at core level, you're at the higher vibrations, so you're really at the kind of the pinnacle of the inside of the being. And of course, as we learn more about quantum physics and that interaction that we have, I also feel this really kind of integrates us with our, I think vibrational astrology is going to help explain how astrology actually works, because of the setting up of the harmony in you, and well, how can 1/12 of the population have the same day, and it's like, oh, please, but it also is, this is it's just really, to my mind, really pivotal. So that's why I got into it. And then when Faye said pick a topic, I said, well, you got to practice. You're busy. What are your 5, 10, or I've got 10, but I may cut it down. I haven't looked at how long I get to talk for. What are the 10 approaches to just go choot, 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 that you're going to bring over and look at, right? When you're talking.
Like the basics of it.
Yeah. Yep, the basics.
Like the basic vibrations and things like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And which vibration's getting activated, right? Yeah. So if you've got a heavy duty 17 and you got Saturn coming along to whack the baby, it wakes up, So.
Right. Yeah. I always tell my students, because I teach vibrational astrology as well. Like I always tell them that vibration, because a lot of them usually do come from different disciplines in astrology first. Some don't, but some do, or at least have some understanding of it. And it's kind of good that when they don't, because then they don't have preconceived notions. Because I noticed teaching people that already have set ideas in astrology, VA is a little hard, because they already know certain things and they think that's the right way. I'm not saying it's not the right way. It's just different lenses. But right. The way I look at it is VA is like a magnifying lens, literally, because we're magnifying the chart with the vibration charts. But it's also very specific nuances. Like, so when you said you get the people going, oh my gosh, how'd you know that about me? It happens. It's just, that's VA. That's how VA works. Mm-hmm. But other systems of astrology is like the framework of things, maybe like it's a broader view, a picture with the big lens instead of the microscope, and so I can see, and I love how you're talking about, putting them together. I do lean into VA in the sense of, I just usually get to the heart of the problem with the VA and looking at it from that perspective. That's just my way, but I came from, reading Linda Goodman books, and learning about just the signs back back in the 90s, but you just end up learning and you just keep growing on your knowledge base. But VA is my way. But I love the idea of looking at it and using it as a tool, as part of what you're already doing as a professional astrologer, because I think that's so important. And I love it because we need people to bridge that gap between the VA people and astrologers in some level or another. And that's what kind of how I see what you're doing and what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good analogy, Starlene. It's kind of like when you go to a dentist or you go to a cosmetologist, and then they put the light on and you see and they magnify and you see all the pimples and stuff. And you're like, whoa. Now, not just pimples, there's good stuff too. But, when you see that level of magnification, but you understand, oh, that's there. And then when you're looking at the bigger picture of, well, your mother and your dog and your whatever, it gives you a framework for helping the person. And I do find, a lot of the kids coming in now have very condensed charts. There's a lot of aspects hanging out. together, planets really talking to each other and really setting up some pretty intense vibrations. So I find it's very helpful when talking to parents too, because I'll do kids. These kids are they're pretty intense. They got Pluto and Capricorn, and they really hold the grounding of the energy. And so talking to them about what the kid's vibration is. So that was part of what I was thinking, like a little side piece for when you're talking to a parent of this is how to encourage your child's major vibration in addition to whatever. So I mean, I just find it endlessly fascinating. And I've used it a couple times with a client that was having a daughter that was a little suicidal. Not that we want to necessarily emphasize that, but it was really helpful at predicting when she was going to fall off the,
But
off the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the best topic to ever,
No, I'm not going to do that. But it's
right.
Yeah.
However, we as astrologers can see when those dark moments are going to happen, and we can help people, help other people figure out, like, hey, you're having a moment. It's a moment in time. Like the predictive astrology, it's a moment in time. It too shall pass. And that's part of what we do, is helping people through those moments. So it's not, we never want to talk about suicide. I wish it never happened, but it's also a topic that needs to be talked about in some way. So I'm glad you brought it up, because I think that, people can see the value in that, especially from coming to an astrologer. About. Yes. I mean, Christopher and I did a whole talk about it, a whole video about it.
Yeah. So it's like I mean, in some ways we do see the weather. You can see what a person's going through, and you can see when it will pass, and for people to know that something, for you to meet people where they're at and be able to say, yeah, it's dark, but it's not going to last forever. It ends here. It gives them something like a hope. And, in that state, they need hope. One of the things I did, knowing that we were going to do this, of course, I had to look up Anne's chart. And, I saw I looked at two of the strongest. Well, you know what? I just went to the vibrations. So you have a strong 221 and a 311, which is the 221 is like a restless inquisitiveness. It's extremely this is one of the strongest things. The 311 is the penetrating intellect. So there's a restless inquisitiveness and a penetrating intellect combined. That's what you're getting with Anne. And these are the two of the strongest of the vibrations, which is really, again, you want to see where a person's coming from. I mean, yeah, can I see the Virgo and can I see an 8th house? Sure. But you want to sort of pinpoint, okay, where are we going with that? And I find it fascinating with that. Again, when a person's inquisitive, they don't have a set thing. They're asking questions. They're trying to figure out. It's not like, oh, there's the answer. I know already what. No, an inquisitive person wants to dig to get. And of course, with Virgo, you want the detail. You want to be right too. Like, you do not want to be wrong. Okay, so we know that that you're there. But if you don't have that, quote, penetrating intellect, if you don't have the ability to sort through and be able to express it well, you may kind of have a sense, but you can't communicate that. And that's one of the things, again, in looking at the vibrations within Anne, this is something she's really strong at. So, for people to be able, because I think one of the beauties of vibrational astrology is you can incorporate it into many systems, especially knowing that you have sort of a Jungian background, correct? Yes. So to me, this works extremely well with Jungian, sort of the whole Jungian methodology and sort of how they embrace that and how they look at it. So it fits to me. It fits extremely well in Jungian thought. Okay, because you're looking at core, and you get to core dynamics, not just surface level movement dynamics, but really deep core dynamics that define a person. When you said, it's sort of like you're peeling back and the person's knowing you hit something. it is a real beautiful thing with vibrational astrology that you're able to do that. You can like do it quick. And for me, everything's about building a story. You know, when I'm looking at a chart, I'm trying to build a story. Now, where are you? What chapter are you in now? That's different, you know, but I need to kind of know where this is going to see what this point in time means to you, you know. So I'm looking forward with, you know, with Anne and what she's going to be able to bring in the conference, especially for people learning vibrational astrology or those interested in that style of astrology, you know, to be able to get handles of how to incorporate that. And again, since you have so many different disciplines that you've learned, and I agree, you need to keep the disciplines separate. You can't just blend disciplines, but you can get information from this discipline and this discipline and this discipline, because ultimately, as astrologers, even though they don't like to use the word counselor, okay, there is counsel given. I mean,
Yes.
that's what you do. All right, you're talking to someone, and you're saying, okay, this is where you are, and we can never have enough detail. I mean, we can never have enough. You know? For me, it's always about what works. Like, I just care what works. That's really what I care about. And I want it to work fast. The faster, the better, you know,
Right.
because
Right.
we don't have days on end to
Mhm.
work up a chart. I mean,
Yeah.
if you did, that would be great. But, you know,
Yeah,
you don't.
that's one of the things I love about VA.
Yeah, the going in and penetrating. And also with the Jungian emphasis, the whole concept of it is individuation. Like,
Yes.
you know, and if we think of ourselves as being our moon, you know, in the Vedic, I'm going to borrow from the Vedic, the moon was your sun in the last life. So that's your emotional competency and your skill sets. It's internal, but we're all going towards our sun via the path of the North Node. So where are you supposed to shine? What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to individuate?
Right.
And what the vibration says is this is your individuation.
Exactly. It gives it clarity. It gives it the direction where you're supposed to go rather than vague.
Right. It's very focused, but it's also here. This is kind of your own talisman, for lack of a better.
Right.
Right.
And it also, especially if people are at crossroads or trying to make decisions, you know, when you have that little talisman to hang on to, right? That, okay, this is my job, or this is part of why I'm here. It allows the person to stay centered in their being. And this year, you know, normally we have Jupiter change signs and maybe another outer planet. This year we have 5 outer planets changing.
Yes.
We have the node of fate, Saturn and Neptune restarting 165-year cycle, 30-year cycle, 19-year cycle. And so with 5 outer planets and the nodes resetting, major changes in the world, which makes the world so unstable. So if you understand your core vibration and what it is, it's very, very grounding.
Yes.
And so that's also, I think, the beauty of it in times like this, in general, but just in times like this. This is your soul code. This is the code of your soul, you know. And I mean, I don't do an overt religion, but what astrology, I mean, I was raised as a Catholic, but what astrology, and I studied a lot of other religions. What astrology gave me was, like, each soul has its purpose and its being, and the vibration is what you vibrate to be, right? And so when you're looking at somebody's vibration, you're singing to their soul, you know. So I think there's why my brain hurt. I'm like, okay, well, I got another project. I got to learn vibrational astrology. You know, and off you go, right? Yeah,
I agree. When you have, I mean, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in an earthquake, but in an earthquake, there's no place you can go to find stability. Like, it is, even though they're not, like, you'll hear, oh, it was for 20 seconds or whatever. When you're in it, that 20 seconds seems like hours, because you can't, it's like everything's moving, and it produces just a fear within you. And, you know, where we sit in the world today, we are in an element of chaos. I mean, everybody says they want change. Well, in order to have change, you have to go through chaos. I mean, you don't go from solid to solid. It has to break up. So we're in that state of change. We're in that state of chaos. And you're right. You need to find something that is solid, something. And when you go to that, in a sense, that core vibration, this is something you can hang on to. And, when you deal, with the concepts of religion, there's so many ones that want to talk about how to find that. And most religions, that's sort of the concept. How do you find the core?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I won't say that a lot of them do a great job at it, because they tend to lose how that happens.
They're run by people. That's the way.
That's right. That's right.
We all have Neptune in our chart somewhere.
We do. Yes.
But how do we manifest the Neptune? Yeah.
Yes, and that's it.
Making aspects too.
Absolutely, there has to be an unknown future there. Because that's what the future is. It is unknown, and yet we have to have something solid. So I like the way you said that. I completely agree with that. And again, to be able for the tangibles, for someone that now. If someone is not that familiar even with astrology, are they going to be able to get something from your talk, or is this more for? Okay, yes. Wonderful.
If they know how to run the software, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So if a person knows how to bring a chart up, they're going to be able to learn something. So again, you don't have to know a lot in the lecture to be able to get. That's wonderful, because we want to be able to mark. That's one of the things we haven't really talked a lot about. We do need to mark the talks that beginners can go to, because there's some that you're not going to get hardly anything out of this talk. And there's other ones where you'll be able to take something away and use it right away. So that's wonderful to know.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in handouts. I'm a big believer in process.
Wonderful.
And then
I can see that.
Where are you now? I will say, Christopher, I have been told that my teaching style is a little bit like trying to take a drink out of a fire hose. So I give a lot of information. So sometimes that's why when my brain got broken, I went, ooh, these people are my people. It was like a fire hose coming in.
I understand. You're trying to check all the possible questions.
Yeah. Yes. I just want to warn people, it's a little bit, but get a recording, you get a handout. And I had a really wonderful teacher in New York who said, go skating with the big kids, makes your game better, or makes your skating better. So I always encourage people.
I'm with you.
Stretch a little past your comfort zone, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. For me, my style, I appreciate that, because, you can get some that give you what seems to be something, and yet it sounded good when you were hearing it, and it could, in a sense, activate the passion. People, they get all excited, but then you go away and it's like, okay, what exactly am I taking away? I enjoyed it, but I'm not taking anything away. I like the takeaway. Like, okay, I have something that's clear, it's understandable. Now let me go play with it. I like to take stuff back and play with them. Like, let's see how it works. Let me try it on my chart, my wife's chart, I go through my entire family just to see, what is this? How does this work? So that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the conference in general is really set up to appeal to a lot of different people. And there's nothing like an astrology community to gather with. You're riding in the elevator and someone's talking and you're like, oh, they're talking my language. Because a lot of times in the world, we're just roaming around, but then you're in an elevator and people, my Pluto, Venus, my Saturn, Mars, I'm with my people. So that's the other part. I'm with my people. And I will say, I missed the first one, Faye, but and then I had COVID, but I've been to the vibrational conferences, and I wanted to say Faye does a great job. They're wonderful, wonderful conferences. So
and
it's really set up for a lot of community connecting. You don't feel like you're frantic and you're running around from, oh my God. Some of the bigger ones, you're like, okay, it's a little bit overwhelming because there's 17 tracks, and I'm thinking of UAC, but where you go, are you here? What room are you in? But this will be very, very collegial and friendly. I mean, I have to say the people at this conference are lovely. No, because sometimes you go to conferences where there's kind of a little mean undertone, and this is a lovely.
Yeah, yeah. This one is it's a family conference where you feel part of the family when you come. Yeah, and this will be a three tracks conference. If not to worry that you can't come to that other lecture because you're only one body, but you will be getting all the video recordings of each of all those lectures. So just come to anyone that your heart wants you to do, and not to worry about the others because you will watch the recording for that.
That's it. You go to a conference and you go, okay, I just learned about this. Let me walk out with my notes, and some of the stuff, to Christopher's point, I love to learn things, but I'm also kind of like, when am I going to apply it? Now, every now and then it'll pop, and I'll be like, oh, I should use this technique here with this person, so I'll be able to pull it out of my toolkit. But I think this will be something that you can pull because you just do it as part of your regular prep. You pop the vibrations. If you don't know them, you look them up in the lovely books that are available for you to look them up in. And then you kind of think about the planets that are involved. And then you think about their relation, what their natal story is. Yeah. And then if they're having the natal chart's having a big transit, that vibration is going to sing and dance. And so it's an underlying, and I've always been really fascinated with like Arabic parts and harmonic. Because I'm into music and pianos, they have the three strings for every key, and when you're setting up a vibration, or even if you're listening to gongs or you're doing drumming, or you can feel how it resonates through your whole body, which I think is when you're explaining it to someone, it's your resonance, and it's why ooh, I like that person, ooh, I like that person, like who you resonate with too. And so I think it's a really powerful tool, and I'm much more comfortable that. It is a nuclear power codes, but we need nuclear power. We need astrology that really helps people appreciate their unique purpose, what their unique vibration is on Earth, so they can do their part. We're all here on planet Earth going through these times, and the more in tune we are to our being and our soul's purpose, why we incarnated now, I think the better it is. And I think the vibrational, it's like your little secret, soul word,
Right. The way you explained it, and especially from the beginning, the integration of vibrational astrology into different technique, that is the vision that I'm envisioning vibrational astrology will go on. It's not an isolated technique. It's not a separate method, but it can be very helpful, integrated into other methods, making it more powerful and more accurate. It can be integrated, and that is my vision of vibrational astrology. That is why I am pushing this to the point that this can be accepted as one of the system in astrology that can be integrated into all.
Yeah, and I think it really has that bridging ability because it harnesses, you used to manually have to calculate everything, but it harnesses the power of the computer to kind of zero in and kind of pop, hey, look at this. It's like a giant, it's like a giant AI in your chart, really. Everybody's all excited about AI. I'm like, well, that's vibrational astrology. What are your top pops, right? And so, that's my top pop. That's my, my one-hit wonder there. That's my job. So it's I find it really valuable. So so I'm looking forward to it. And of course, I had to figure out how to do it. And as an astrologer, you have to go through it and figure it out, and then you have to teach it to other people. So I'm going to keep.
I showed it to you. Did I show it to you how to integrate it? Was it in 2022 or 2023? We were sitting there at the conference, and I showed you how to put it together, and it just popped. We were using your chart, and it was just, oh my God, this is how it works. And now you're graduating in March. You're gonna be
I'm gonna be a recent graduate. Be another thing.
Certified astrologer.
But that was it, Faye. You were kind of like, okay, I'm like, oh, all right, got it. And I think sometimes it's that process where feel a little like a foreign language because you're going, oh, you're at 311 or you're at 19 or you're whatever. But if you understand it, and then, having done divisional charts in Vedic, and you're the person asks a question and you hone in on the divisional chart, then you're good. And then the other thing I like about it, which I haven't really gotten into, and I don't think I'm going to include this in the lecture, but when someone's talking about something and you're actually hearing them describe a vibration, like I haven't really reverse engineered it yet. I still kind of do it through the regular chart, but I imagine that's another opportunity to go, okay, reverse engineer, what's their vibration, and then go look in the chart and see it,
Right. That's another way.
All the world is wonderful. We have an amazing gift in astrology. So
We really do. And we're really, really blessed to be able to be living during these times, and the computer software is so available to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So true.
Yeah. This is a conference of a lifetime to talk about. It's really, really a fantastic conference. Especially with your lecture, Anne. You're gonna teach them how to integrate vibrational astrology into a different system and activate the vibrational chart, especially with the transit, and then they will be learning all of these things, the medieval, the Hellenistic, the financial astrology, the Vedic. They will learn all of these, and then with your lecture, they will put it all together and connect it and link it and integrate it. So this is really an awesome conference.
Yeah, I think it looks like really amazing lectures, and I really like that you get to watch, because that's the worst part. I want to go to 3 of them at the same time.
Right?
So I actually kind of like the way it used to be, where it's just one lecture and you just, you're in it,
Yeah.
But all right, we're gonna do 3, but we're gonna be able to attend them anyway. We just have to pick our favorite.
Right.
The other 2, yeah, we just.
That'll be good.
These other speakers have gathered with us around to be part of it. To be part of it, and they are not VA astrologer, but they want to be part of it, and so that's why this is convergence. And the 3 of us really want VA to be integrated into other systems, so that's why we call it convergence, so that we can have them all together. Right. We all unite together, like the United Astrology Conference, together in one conference, but only three tracks. Only 3 tracks, not 7 or 14 like we have in those big conferences, which is hard to go to when you only have one body. But this is only 3 tracks. You will only miss 2.
And the whole concept is you can bounce. You can, for one time you can do. I mean, I am not really very familiar with a lot of the financial astrology.
Yeah,
I wish I was, but I'm interested in it, And so it's like, okay, well, I'm definitely going to do a lecture in one of the, or attend one of the lectures for financial, because I'm curious about it. I'm not very familiar with that one. And so people will have an opportunity where they might have their main thing that they really want to hear, but then you have the opportunity to expand and learn something new. I mean, no one knows everything about astrology. Anyone claims to even be close to knowing everything is a liar. It's like it's way too big.
Well, we have 4 VA astrologers. We have 4 financial astrologers. We have 2 Vedic astrologers. We spread it into the schedule, so you won't miss them. If you miss one, you still see one. So we organize it really beautifully. Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah.
To give people a more round, and people are going to get all the lectures, so you're not going to miss anything. But just to have people so they can just be introduced to it, because it's one thing to read a book, and books can be good, but it's another thing to hear the people speak. To hear the ones who are doing it, and for me, there is impartation that takes place when you're listening to someone talk, especially being in the room with them. I mean, we could talk about vibrational astrology, but there's a vibration that happens in the room. There are things that go on that just are, and you can learn in ways that, again, you can't do it in a book. That's just the reality. You can't even do it on a podcast. It's not the same as being in the presence of somebody.
No, it's different.
so-
I mean, they're lovely because then we can do it more often and, you know, integrate into like a normal routine.
Yeah, well, it has its place.
But the in-person thing, there's nothing like it. So that's the beauty about it. And I always it's like the highlight of my week outside of my family time highlights. It's like that's my pinnacle of the year, really. So the conferences are amazing. And I've been to many conferences. I've been to UAC. I've been to other, you know, it's like these conferences. I mean, this one is obviously a little different than the last 7 years, but I'm excited because we are integrating not just VA into it. We're integrating other systems and ways that we can use it in multitudes of ways, you know, not just the research part of it, which the research I love. It's just, you know, like that's a beautiful thing of it. Yeah.
And we're also doing karmic astrology too. Don't forget. So
I know, and everybody can learn. There's something about something for everyone. Yeah.
It's also the opening square of the conference, right? So we're expanding it out.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's the Saturn square of the conferences. So it's like send it out.
Yeah.
Send it out into the world. We're heading towards the Cancer.
I had the same thought.
The Cancer Leo expansion, making it really grow. Yeah.
That's 7 years, and you've been with us since, you know, coming to everyone.
Well, I missed the first one, but yeah.
Oh no, you were the first one.
No, you were there.
You were the first one for sure.
I thought that was the second one I was at. Okay.
No, the second one was the COVID time. We didn't.
Yeah, second one was COVID, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you were at the first one because I remember actually talking to you there. So
yeah.
I just know I've come a lot. That's every time
I
can get there, I go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great though because you know, hey,
now you're a VA astrologer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become connected with the people that you see a lot at these conferences, and they're beautiful that you're able to inspire each other and have, I mean, that's why I love going. I mean, I love listening to lectures, don't get me wrong, but the connection with the other people, the communicating and the learning and growing that you do from just the experience of it, that's just that to me, that's the best part. You know, although I love the lectures and presentations, I partake in doing them as well. I also love that connection with the community. So that's my favorite part. But thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anne, for coming on the podcast. Yeah, it was great talking with you. You're so much fun. Maybe we'll have to have another podcast at some time in the future.
Sounds like a plan. We love it. We love it.
That sounds great.
You know, it's astrology. How can it be anything but fabulous, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Great. So, I guess we'll wind it up here, and I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.